So what is a share?
Hey, mindset. I think that sounds alright.
So what is a share? So we're going to talk about why shares are available, what shares are, and essentially how you can make money from buying and selling shares. So why do shares exist? So essentially shares are they're essentially businesses that are looking to grow, and they sell part of their business as equity, what they call equity. So essentially, think of like an example like Facebook. So Facebook started off in Mark Zuckerberg's dorm room, and as it grew, they wanted to expand. Maybe they need to take on new staff. They need to people working on the kind of coding or the kind of building that business. So what they would do, they would sell part of that business to other people so investors would come on board. You have things like angel investors. So think of like Dragon's Den, where you'd go and pitch your idea, and if they like your idea, if they see potential in it, if they see it's going to will grow in the future or will provide them an income in the future, they will give that founder, that person with the idea, money for part of that, to own part of that business. So say they might take on 20% of that business, and for, I don't know, for say £100,000 for instance, or whatever they pitch for, and they then become owners of that business. And as that business grows, it will continue to grow, and then more and more people, they need more and more money to essentially make that business grow quicker. So they will list that business on the stock market as it gets even bigger, and then they can sell shares to thousands of people. So when you see on the news that you talk about companies, the price of that company, that's the price of those individual shares. So for instance, now Facebook is now listed on the American stock exchange, and you as an individual can go and buy part of that business. So you can actually own part of Facebook or any other business. And then so when you buy that share, you essentially become an owner. So you have other people working for you as an owner. So you go buy a share, and then all those people are essentially working to provide you an income, or on the hope that those shares will be worth more in the future. So those shares will also provide a dividend. So when businesses make money, so for instance, Facebook, they sell advertising space as when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, you get adverts coming up, and essentially Facebook make money from selling their advertising space. And then part of those adverts, the revenue, will be paid back to the shareholder in the form of a dividend. So if you have that share of Facebook, every quarter of the year, you'll get a check in the post, and it will be sometimes 2, 3, 4% of the investment that you make. So every time you get that money, that's a kind of incentive for you to put money into a share. And the other great thing about being a shareholder, you actually become, because you're an owner, you own that part of that business, you get to vote. So a lot of people don't understand that you actually as you become an owner, you have a right to vote on important decisions. So every year or every half a year, you can go and vote on who runs that company, which direction of that company that's going to go in. And if you don't agree with, maybe if it's unethical or something, or they're doing something bad that you don't agree with, you can write a letter, or you can vote on ways that you don't necessarily agree with. So essentially that's what a share is. Essentially it's a share of a business. It's essentially you become part owner of that business, and you put money into it, and with the hope that you're going to get paid a dividend, so part of the profits, and that those shares will go up in price over time. So very simply, that's what a share is, and it's listed on the stock market. So there's a number of different stock markets. There's a FTSE 100, which is in the UK, FTSE 100, which is the 100 biggest shares in the UK. You've got the Dow Jones in America, or you've got a number of different other indexes around the world. Every big country had their own index, which lists their own companies that are based there. And yeah, the price of that company goes up and down depending on the demand and supply of those shares. So the more demand for those shares, so if Facebook is in demand, people think Facebook's going to be really a great company in the future. More people want to buy that share, so that price will go up in price because there's only a limited amount of shares, so that price will go up. Where if, for instance, you think Facebook's not going to do very well in the future, that social media or something, there's more competition coming on board, or you don't think people are going to spend their time on online or using social media, then that price of that share will go down. And essentially it's buying essentially shares you can buy and sell on thinking that on the price of that, if it's that price going to go up or if it's going to go down. But shares is a long-term strategy. You're buying living, breathing companies. So I wouldn't buy shares unless you're going to be investing for 5 years plus. I talk about Facebook just as an example. It's information, not advice. And yeah, that's essentially what a share is. And yeah, you can go and buy shares. But I also add to that, don't buy one share because that's super risky. You can reduce your risk by 60% by buying a basket of shares. So don't buy one Facebook stock, you can buy a whole basket of tech stocks if you want, or you can buy the whole American index if you want, and that's much less risky than buying one share. My name's Neil Doig. This is Millennial Money Mindset. If you want the fruits, you need the roots. I'm the author of Millennial Money Mindset. If you want the fruits, you need the roots. My podcast is also called Millennial Money Mindset. I'm the director and CEO and founder of Money Tips, tax, investment, property, pension, savings. I'm also the creator of football formation, asset allocation. Yeah, I hope that was interesting. And please like, please subscribe, and please tell one person about this channel. If you want the fruits, you need the roots.
Hey, mindset. I think that sounds alright.